We saw many an egg,
Yeah,
which I thought would have happened a fair while ago. Melbourne land. Haven't thought that one through, have you, mate?
the drive gotten to you a bit, Matt.
I've said for a long, long time now. Quite like to go to Brazil at some point. So I'm probably going to stick that one. That one as my, hopeful destination of the week. Somewhere I'd like to end up somewhere along the line. How about you, Millsy?
I want to do Mongolia, the Gobi Desert. To have desert and then snow like out, and then you just be puffing along on a train. That
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Bit of a different
Yes, we are.
view for you this time. Obviously, as we mentioned in the last podcast, I'm on a bit of a solo mission. Well, I've got Pork with me at the moment, but I'm on a bit of a solo mission up the East Coast, heading to Cairns. So we're in Sydney at the moment. Man, Pork, how'd you find the drive up, mate? I was actually not. It was pretty crazy. We left pretty early, but it was a pretty good one. Millsy, how's your week been, mate?
Well, my week's been pretty good. Came back from, funnily enough, the Victoria-New South Wales border as well. We were in the same direction, just a couple of 100 kilometres apart. Funny
Couple
saying
hundred kilometers apart. Yeah, exactly right. By the way, guys, we just spent genuinely, I think it's about an hour trying to work out how to record a podcast virtually. It took us so long. We apologise.
Necessary.
Yeah, we apologise that it's not the same sort of format as they have been recently, but we don't really have a lot of options at the moment. Unfortunately, we're going to see if we can fix it up, make it a little bit better. But for the time being, this is what we've got.
Hey, Zoom upheld the world's biggest companies over pandemic, so I'm perfectly sure that you guys will be able to live with our excellent audio quality over Zoom.
That it did. Yeah, it might not be as good, but hopefully it goes all right. But speaking of the difficulties of setting up a a Zoom a Zoom meeting, I think it takes us quite nicely in to our pet peeves. However, before that, we do need to announce to you guys that we actually have quite a large announcement for you that will come at some point during the video. I'm not going to tell you when. You got to listen to find out, but it could potentially be quite big for someone. But Millsy, even with your pet peeve of the week, man.
Well, annoying things to do with internet and booking providers. Pet peeves, we've just been booking Iceland. And when you go book something, what do you normally do? You fill out your details, your name, your email address. Then, about a day later, you get an email on the app for you to fill the same details in for the hotel. So my question is, like, why can't I just talk?
I love when they
filled
use your name in the email as well, and then they've
Yeah,
emailed you.
Dear Luca, I don't know how we got your email, but could you please fill out this information
Yeah, we
about your
need
booking?
your name and your email.
Yeah,
you know,
and what your booking is. Oh,
yeah.
we already had that information.
I know. It never makes any sense, man. It never makes any sense. Mine this week, I've actually kind of got two because we drove up to Sydney yesterday. The first one, really simple, just babies crying on planes. We've touched over it so many times on this podcast already, but it is
You had pork
it's an
crying next year the whole time.
absolute nightmare. Oh, I did. I nearly fell asleep again. By the way, it
Oh,
was it was a lucky one. It was a lucky one. But no, I mean, come on, they're impossible to deal with. If you got one next to you as well, I think it's possibly the worst thing on the planet. We spoke last week about having to sit near dogs next to cats next to birds, but I think I'd still rather do that than sit next to a baby on a plane. It's the worst thing imaginable. But the
100% is
second
a
the
tip top.
second thing is, and this seems to be strictly a New South Wales thing in Australia. But
Oh,
we got into New South Wales yesterday, crossed the border, and they've got cameras like along the top of the road essentially that look down and take photos to see whether you're on your phone. Which you look at it and you go, fair enough, whatever. But it's not necessarily to do with whether or not you're on your phone. If your passenger is on the phone and it looks like you might be able to see the screen, as the driver, you still get fined.
there's definitely got to be an appeal system for this.
Now, apparently it's okay if you've got it on one of like the phone holder things that you can stick to your dashboard or your window or whatever. But if you
Yeah.
don't have one of those, every time you see a sign that says there's one of those phone cameras, you've got to like hide your phone somewhere or like put a screen down so that they can't see it. But on a flip side, then you can't see it.
Revolutionary. Don't be on your phone.
Well, yeah, don't be on your phone. It is quite a simple one. But just like the fact that knowing that every time, like if Paul's given me directions yesterday, I know that every time we see one of those, he's got to turn his body like this so that his phone isn't facing me at all, because otherwise we get like $800 of fines because he's giving me directions. It's outrageous, man. But what can you do? To be honest,
how can we address this camera issue? Remove bike lanes?
No, remove New South Wales.
Oh, hey, that's also a solution.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest. That's the simplest one we've got. Just pick it up and move it somewhere else. I'd much rather live. Yeah, swap them. Actually, no, don't swap them. Put them next to each other. I'd much rather. Yeah, I'd much rather live next to Queensland. But yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, we have actually been planning as Millsy touched on briefly, the second leg to our European journey, and what a leg it is. I think we're both. I think this is probably the segment that we are the most excited for. I think when we left off last time, we said that we were just catching the ferry across to Finland. I think.
Yeah, so Millsy, we'll tell.
Where are we going? Where are we going after that, mate? Where are we going?
Well, we're getting on my favourite ball size reducing boat, and we're going to cross from Tallinn to Helsinki, where I got trapped last time on my expedition. But we will be heading much further north, up into Santa's Little Helpers area, literally named the North Pole. And then we're going to loop down around into Sweden, cross into Oslo, probably via Copenhagen, one of the best cities going around. And then we're going to 5-hour hop, skip and jump into Reykjavik.
To Iceland, which, I mean, I think that's the part I'm probably the most excited for. I don't know many people personally who've been to Iceland, and the fact that there's going to be, all 5 of us going, and some of the stuff that we're going to get to do, unbelievable. I think we're doing a horse ride through national parks and glaciers and all sorts. Like,
there's going to be some magic in it. There's going to be
absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, very excited for that. And then just to jump down into France, we're going to the Olympics opening ceremony.
We are going to the Olympics, and very intelligently, I booked accommodation the other week, many weeks ago now. I'm going to go to the Louvre the day before with my brother.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That will be nice.
That's really intelligent. Hey, when the city's swelling its population size with tourists, let's go to the biggest tourist attraction.
Haven't thought that one through, have you, mate?
Not my choice. These are the things that you do.
I guess they are. But then we're going down even further south of France, and then over into Italy.
Yeah.
Before the eventual settlement in Slovenia.
We shouldn't. I was going to say we shouldn't reveal the latter travels just yet. We should stop our planning just there this week.
Yeah, there's not much more after that we've sorted just yet. So you'll have to wait until we know what we're doing before you can know what we're doing, I guess. But yeah,
obviously that's our plan so far.
Has the drive gotten to you a bit, Matt?
Anyway, is there another destination you boys might pick that it might not be around some of the areas you've listed, but another place that might be worth the trip?
Well, I think I've said for a long, long time now, I'm going to take a big step out of Europe here. I think it's saying for a while that I'd be quite like to go to Brazil at some point. So I'm probably going to stick that one as my, hopeful destination of the week, somewhere I'd like to end up somewhere along the line. How about you, Millsy?
I want to do Mongolia, the Gobi Desert.
Yeah, that's fair. That would be unbelievable.
That's on my list.
That would be unbelievable.
To have desert and then no like out, and then you just be puffing along on a train.
Yeah, no, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But moving on, this week in the news.
Am I jumping into the news here? Well, I got some fresh news.
I've got some. Obviously, as we said last week, we're now recording the week of. We were recording like 2 weeks in advance, so we're now recording the week of. So all of the news that we found for these episodes is a little bit older now. And as you're saying, he's got some fresh stuff. Mine comes from not too long ago, but not that recently. Turkish Airlines recently, I think it was about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, had their first ever direct flight from Istanbul to Melbourne land, which I thought would have happened a fair while ago, to be honest. And obviously now it's vice versa as well. There's a direct one from Melbourne to Istanbul, but I was quite surprised that was the first direct flight that had happened. I mean, it's 2024 now. You know, it's. I feel like that should have been something that should have been in play a while ago. But it's quite an interesting one to think about because we've been seeing a lot of countries almost opening up a little bit more, and throwing in something like that is really another statement that you can get somewhere like that for what will probably, I imagine, be about $800 Australian.
Yeah, one way.
Yeah, not a bad one considering some of the other destinations that you can get to for around the same price. I thought that was a bit of an interesting one.
I think the thing that I do have questioning here is, now that this is a route, is this going to be like the next UAE? Are they going to make Turkish Airlines the next Dubai, like the hub airport? Because Istanbul's already a hub airport for that regional travel, and like gateway in Africa. Like I'm doing a Barcelona to Istanbul into Africa flight later this year, and the Istanbul to Barcelona leg was like €40. So if I can get to Istanbul and then to Spain for an extra $40, somewhere like Australia, that's going to cut a lot of money off the bill.
Absolutely, bro. Because usually Australia's current, but like actually Singapore, that sends you everywhere else you want to go. But
yeah,
it's not cheap because Singapore is still like a long way to everywhere else. Whereas, like you said, if you can get into Istanbul, you got a big long first flight, but then it's a lot of small ones, which I'd say we'll cut the price off. So could be right. Could be seeing a bit of a change in terms of routes into Europe from Australia, which could be, pretty good.
It's good for competition as well. Like now opening up a third hub as a gateway, and you got it competing against Qantas, Sydney to London direct. You got then Melbourne, Sydney into London direct. That's a good path. You got Singapore, you got Dubai. Yeah, you're opening up another hub. It's great. It's good to see that it's getting competitive.
Places, yeah, it should be good. What have you got for us this week, Millsy?
This week I actually have something hot off the press. It was only concluded 14 hours ago.
Ooh, okay.
8 of which we were asleep for. It's coming straight out of Paris. So the Olympics have announced some of like the venues that are going to be hosting some of the sport, and they're building a 12,000 spectator stadium around the Eiffel Tower. So there's going to be a movable.
The running track, or?
Well, that was what I thought at first, but it's actually, I believe it was judo. It's going to be, you're going to go watch judo and like taekwondo under the Eiffel Tower.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, and so there's 9 different landmarks which are going to have this kind of setup. The other one that really got me was Palace de Concorde, the giant square just in front of the Louvre. Like it's like a kilometre in front. Really big space. So they're blocking all that off, that giant roundabout, to do BMX riding there.
See, that one makes more sense.
It's such like a big open area, important to everyday travel and movement. There's a metro if I remember correctly, there's a metro right there as well. But to put BMX, why not put like boxing or I don't know some big ticket event and attract heaps of people?
Well, that's what I think when you just said that they're planning on putting a big arena around the Eiffel Tower. Why would you not? I don't know. Why would you not? I know that they have like the track and field stuff next to each other for a lot of it, but why wouldn't you do something like I don't know, like the Allen Drive or something like that, and you whip them around the Eiffel Tower and you bike something like that? Makes a little bit more sense to me than sticking, judo or something like that there, where more people are going to look at the Eiffel Tower than the actual fight. You know,
no,
also, in terms of it's weird because something like that has the potential to be so brilliant for the economy. You know, when you have like when countries are hosting like the FIFA World Cup and things like that, or again, the example we're using here is the Olympics. Usually, the time and the money goes into building stadiums that aren't where the main attraction is, because it means that people can go and see the main attraction and then see the events that are going on. But if you put the main attraction inside of one of the events, I feel like it's kind of counterproductive.
I agree. I really do. But look, we're going to be there. We're going to see. They might be right. Someone might be genius here. I don't know.
Yeah, it could end up being very cool. Speaking of, I heard you mention Qantas into London before. Speaking of Qantas, they and Jetstar just announced, I say just again, this is a couple of weeks ago now, a 3 and 3.5% increase in prices due to a fuel increase, like prices of fuel, which I don't know how I feel about that one, because 3.5% doesn't sound like a lot, but it's extra money that's coming out of your pocket on a flight that you're gonna take anyway, if that makes sense. Because it's kind of like from the airline's perspective, they know that you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So if they stick an extra 3.5% on, you're still gonna do it because it's not that big a number. But if they're making more money off something that it's more fuel, man. You know?
Yeah, I think also, and Pork, you can fact check this for us. Like, Qantas is a profitable airline. Like they announced, I think this is the fact check that their biggest profit on record last year. So I think they've got 3% in their margins.
I think you're right. Yeah, for sure. And Jetstar as well. That one surprised me quite a lot because we flew Jetstar to Vietnam, the three of us, and it wasn't great. Like, it really was nothing special.
So it was very bland. It was Ryanair.
Yeah, it was. So why throw on an extra? I believe theirs is 3%. Let me double check this one. Actually, I do have the information in front of me. Yeah, 3% for Jetstar, 3.5% for Qantas. Throw an extra 3% on from Jetstar's perspective. I'm far less inclined to do that. Like, if you're offering a plane service, I feel like you have to get a plane price. And if your prices are going to be significantly higher, you need to offer the service so that people are more willing to pay that than anything else. My dad, he was saying to us when he was flying to where he is now, he flew to Singapore. And that wasn't the cheaper option, but he said he always prefers to fly Singapore because he knows the food is pretty good, it's comfortable, he's got space, the service is brilliant, You're much more willing to spend 100%. The extra couple because it's a better airline. So why, as Jetstar, who notoriously are okay, why the 3% increase when no one else is doing it?
So it would even make more sense for Qantas to increase by 3.5% because that's what they're going for.
Yeah, it makes more sense for them to do it than Jetstar to do it 100%. But even then, the reason that they're using with the increased fuel prices, as we've just said, it was their most profitable year last year.
They got 1.74 billion profit, apparently after tax. Apparently,
that's what the research says.
But that's my thing. Like, realistically, when you think about it here, Qantas, they got almost $2 billion to play with. They lived off government subsidies through COVID. I'm sure that they can weather a 3% fuel price rise. But, like, if not, why not just come out and be honest and just be like, all right, I'm raising the price 3%. No, don't give some rubbish reason like fuel. Because fuel prices actually, I don't know about you, but the start of this year, my average fuel bill has actually decreased.
Mine hasn't, but I've changed my fuel source.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a different story for me, yeah. But
like I've come down from 100.
I have been seeing lower prices, yeah.
Yeah, and like I can say, on average, my weekly fuel bill between the van and the car, it came from about 160 down to 110. Like it has actually, I've had a sizable average drop.
Yeah. So.
And I know I'm not running jet fuel, but like, all the fuels should go in the same direction.
Yeah, I agree. But okay. Did you have a secondary piece of news for us, Martin?
Well, I do. It's a very brief bit of news, but UAE, they've opened up their visa-free travel to 87 more countries. They've done a lot of things over the last couple of years to try to push population growth, economic growth, pretty much all the things that every country tries to do. Grow the population, make it more educated, and bring more people to it and more money in. Their population, Pork, you can fact check us here, has hardly grown in the last decade. I think to the tune of that 10% ballpark, which is 1% growth. Australia does that with their eyes shut. So I'm starting to question whether all these efforts are ever going to work. I know it's not news, it's more kind of topical discussion, but once they opened up those visa-free nations, some of them are like countries that traditionally mean visas to every country, such as India. Like, they're traditionally people that you normally do your visa check on before accepting into the country. But now they're just like, hey, come and work. Like, is this a new level of, I don't know, desperation almost from the UAE here?
I wonder as well, as we just spoke about before, with Turkey opening that direct flight from Melbourne to Istanbul, I wonder if, I'm not sure which one comes first, but I'd be interested to know whether that's was after, the UAE is after.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's an effort to counteract what Turkey have done in a slightly different manner. Because with Turkey opening up that direct route, it gives, as we said before, an opportunity for a growth in economy. Not necessarily population as such, but certainly money coming into the country. There's definitely an opportunity for growth there. So I wonder if the UAE look at it from the perspective of if they can open their country up to more people in terms of population, they're going to see an economic growth there as well. I wonder if it's an attempt to counteract that.
Yeah, it's probably it does have something to do with it, but it's just like, I don't know, globalization was really the thing, the trend for the last 40 years. I feel like it's not the flavor of the month at the moment. I feel like countries are going back to that stricter border and immigration policy. This is just, they're steering away from the trend.
They are a little bit, yeah. Everyone's looking for that little bit more independence, I guess.
Yeah.
In recent years.
That's just
not,
like,
we're not in charge of the country. We don't, we're not seeing the behind the scenes on that. This is purely just opinion based.
However, if your country is looking for a new leader, you got two pretty good TVs here. We're here all year. We're happy to come and help sort things out.
We'll give you it's a modest, we'll do it for a modest price as well.
Yeah, and like we got a pipe work project. We'll do it one day.
Yeah, one day. Anyway, I know we don't have the most amount of time on this because it is Zoom, and I believe it kicks you off after 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're using free Zoom because Microsoft won't let me use my authenticator.
So how long have we got for?
We're only about 25 minutes in.
Okay, cool. Well, let's shift on to your quiz segment.
Let's chop this part out.
Yeah.
And let's get into what would you like to call it this week?
This week I'd stick to Porkopedia. I enjoyed Porky's bits last week, but I think we're going to get into Porkopedia.
Porkopedia it is.
Moving us on to Porkopedia for this week. What do you have?
All right. So, you're going to tell me the country that consumes the most chocolate per capita.
Well, production, I know that wasn't the question, but production, you'd imagine, would lean somewhere Switzerland or the States, just in terms of size. Ooh, I don't know.
I'm going to go with somewhere a bit smaller population base that has money. So I'm going to go with the likes of Switzerland. I'm thinking that Switzerland, Austria region, but I'm going to go with Switzerland. They're known for chocolate production, I guess.
Right. You've stolen what I was going to go for. I just said I was going to go. I was thinking Switzerland, but that's all right. I'll cut that one on the chin. I feel like the UK could be up there as well, though.
Yeah. To be fair, actually, you know what? You can have Switzerland. I'm going to go with like Luxembourg.
Well, I'll take Switzerland. I said it first. It was the first one that come to my head. Switzerland, Luxembourg, Borg.
Millsy, you're not going to be able to get much off me now.
You can't say it.
I got a good grin on my face. You just gave up the number one answer, Millsy.
In my defence, I said it first.
You did, yeah, you did.
I said it first.
But yeah.
Also, I couldn't actually hear you properly. That's why I said it.
No, I didn't say that right at the start. I said in terms of production, which I know wasn't the question, Switzerland would be where I was going. So I'm still thinking that sort of area.
But yeah, apparently per capita, each person has about 8.8 kilos of chocolate a year.
That's a little.
I had the same look on my face.
Okay.
You also got Germany, Ireland, and the UK up there as well.
So I've just got a notification telling me
about. I got yeah.
I'm recording. That's cool. All
right. Who consumes the most eggs?
Who's got the most chickens?
Or mouth to feed, because they could be imported eggs.
They could be imported eggs. You're right on
that. And I've got a kilo amount to tell you as well.
Do you know what? I'm going to go somewhere in Asia. And I don't want it to be too big. But I'm thinking when we were in Vietnam, we saw many an egg.
Yeah. You know what, actually? I'm going to go with Japan.
That's a good call. Honestly, that's a really good call.
That's a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people, they have in that sushi that I kind of mix but also like ramen and stuff. A lot of eggs going in there, 3 meals a day.
That's true. That's a really good answer, actually. I'm going to go with Vietnam. No, you want Japan. What have you got for his book?
All right. So unfortunately, none of you got there. None of you got that there. Number one's China.
Okay.
About 22 kilos per person. Sorry. Yeah, no, per person, I think. Which is around 420 eggs a year.
Damn. Egg a day, mate. Over an egg a day.
Yeah, well over. Then you also got Mexico, Japan's there, and the Netherlands.
Yeah, Japan was good. Japan was a good answer.
Netherlands.
Mexico is a bit rogue, though.
Mexico is a bit of a rogue one. Yeah, there's a bit of a rogue one. It was just somewhere else. You better shift on through these ones pretty quickly.
All right. Production of coffee.
Ooh.
Why don't you let Millsy break it down first?
Yeah.
Most in tons.
Metric tons. Yes.
All right. Well, you got two coffee growing regions. You got like the Kenyan and the surrounding, and then you got the South America region. You got Colombia and Venezuela are a bit sketchy at the moment on production. Kenya's pretty stable in that region.
At the moment, though, but remember, I got the total year value, so I would have gotten the 2023.
That's true.
Oh. The issue is, I know that South America's coffee production got affected. And Africa, but then in saying that, China doesn't really grow coffee. Who's the biggest coffee country? Brazil. Brazilian Arabica. Brazil. I'm going to go with Brazil. They're a big South American country. Crops that can fail. Doesn't matter.
Well, Hawk's looking at me because he knows that I'm not happy because he heard, and I don't know if it would have come across in the recording, but the moment he said it, I started to say Brazil and then stopped halfway through because I wasn't entirely sure. But I think I would agree. I think it's Brazil. I think it's another one of those that says the same way, but I'm going to hit somewhere nearby. And it's a bit of a, I don't know, it's a bit of a shot in the dark because I was going to say Brazil, but I'll go near enough, but I know it's hit somewhere like that as well. I don't think it is, but I'm going to go somewhere like that. Is it Brazil, Paul?
It's Brazil.
It's Brazil. Okay.
Yeah, I gave up Switzerland before on accident.
You did give up Switzerland, so I can let you have that one. We're on the ball this way, mate. I'll tell you what, much more on the ball than we usually are.
Vietnam's actually up there.
Vietnam's up there as well.
That's second.
This is a different sort of one, wasn't it? That we tried some of theirs. It was a very different sort of flavour to what we're used to.
100%.
All right. Production of flowers.
This could be a ripe old trick. Because I know that there's a lot of flower export. Is this country which actually grows the most flowers?
I'll have to check that.
I would assume so.
Just purely because, I don't know if you got any thoughts on this, Ethan, but is it Netherlands or Belgium? They've got all those fields, but a lot of them are shipped in.
Yeah, I think.
Because I'm going to guess the Netherlands, but I feel like it's wrong because the flowers are shipped into there.
I feel like
it is the amount of flowers that are grown.
All right,
yeah,
I'll back the Netherlands in.
So I thought it was something like that as well. I thought when you said Netherlands, Belgium, I feel like you were on the right sort of track. So it's the opposite to you, because I thought it was something around those regions. So we've got Belgium, Netherlands. What do you got for?
It is the Netherlands.
Netherlands, well done, Millsy.
They've got about 12 billion flowers a year,
Wow.
which is a few.
With a B?
Yeah, with a B.
Jesus. 12 billion.
I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. I'm seeing timer left at 3 minutes 30. But big announcement that we did promise you. We're doing a bit of a giveaway with some conditions. So the conditions are, our leaving date from Australia is the 24th of June. If we hit 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube, we will give away $1,000. In order to be in with the chance, in order to be in the running for this competition, you have to be subscribed to the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, and following the Instagram. and we have to hit 1,000 subscribers by the 20th of June. If we don't, no one wins anything. If we do, one of you is in with a chance to win $1,000, and we're not joking on this one. You can win $1,000 if we've got 1,000 subscribers by that point.
So we're going to start pumping this now.
Yeah, pretty big opportunity. So this is the announcement today. It'll be in all of the videos that we put up after this. So get involved, tell your friends, subscribe. We'll see something on TikTok as well, so they can get pulled. And everyone's going to be with an opportunity. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us for episode 5 of the podcast. We'll see you next week. Maybe on the same software, maybe on some different software. We're going to have a look into it. But again,
and in different locations.
And in different locations, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to the YouTube, follow all the socials. They'll be in the description. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Hey, there, boy. Oh, wait. We're here.